Imagine being able to translate your WordPress site into over 129 languages completely automatically, either live or in bulk. Totally unlimited for your pages or for your posts, and of course that includes tags and categories. All of it simply with AI, or even more simply with DeepL or Google Translate, making your site accessible to over 129 countries. Well, today it's possible. We've created the plugin and we're going to show it to you right now. WPTranslation.net v3. So it's a WordPress plugin, quite simply, as I mentioned in the intro, that will let you translate your entire site, whether it's page by page or directly in bulk. So if you have a site that's already in French, for example, you'll be able to, simply translate it into all the languages that you want. You'll also be able to translate directly live, meaning from the moment you publish an article or a page, it will automatically be translated into all the languages you've selected for live translation. And obviously you can go back over it and so on. In short, you'll have full control over the entire translation, whether it's in bulk, live, and so on. So let's take a look at that right now. Now, this is a plugin that works with Polylang, so you'll need to install the free version, of course, of Polylang, which will handle, ultimately, it's what structures your site to be multilingual. So you'll select your languages directly from Polylang, which we'll see in the demo, and then you simply add the WP translation add-on. We'll configure the translation, what we're going to work with, meaning are we going to work with AI via OpenAI with the OpenAI models? Are we going to work with DeepL, the DeepL API, or simply with Google Translate, which is completely free? That's pretty interesting, as you'll see. So right here, we're just going to grab a demo site. So here's a demo site with a few pages, a few articles that were created for this occasion in French. So there you have it, simply with your images and so on and so forth. Here's the text in French. Okay, here's the text. All of this was done with Automatique because, of course, WP translation is compatible with Automatique. So the posts are created on their own and are therefore also translated automatically. You can completely automate your production in the language of your choice, and then the translation itself, which makes the whole thing pretty interesting. So here, for example, we can see from Polylang, we have French, English, and Spanish. Obviously, I could have added a ton of additional languages. So to get started, we'll just go look directly from the WordPress site. So first, you're going to install the free version of Polylang, which will structure the multilingual part of your site. So here in the configuration, once you've installed it, you just come here and simply select the languages you want to work with. So you set the default language for your site. So in this case, French, okay? And then quite simply, well, you have a list here. So you have a huge number of countries. So for example, for French, here, for example, you have the FRBE version, the FRFR version, of course, and the FRCA version. So here with Polylang, you can have several versions of your site available, for example, for France, for Belgium, Canada, or even Switzerland. You can obviously integrate it as it will make your site directly available in the relevant country, and there won't be any duplicate content issues. No, let's say penalties for duplicating your pages, even if they're in French. This is for the simple reason that you're telling Google via Polylang and the hreflang tag that this site is the Canadian or Belgian version. So no problem there. Here for the demo, I've just set it to Spanish, English, and French, quite simply. Next, we'll find our languages directly in WordPress here, with the default language being the FR version. And so here I've created my content with Automatique in the French version, simply put. So here we're talking about wooden houses, basically. You can see there are tables, there are YouTube videos, and so on and so forth. We have internal and external links. However, the external links will remain since the content is just being translated. So the external links embedded in the content will stay put. On the other hand, the internal links, for example, those created with Automatique, will actually adapt based on the language. They will backlink among themselves, the Spanish pages with the Spanish pages, English with English, and French with French. So that will be modified. So that's that. Next, we'll simply go to WP Translation. There's a free version if you want to test it, WP Translation. The free version, which is available, will allow you to translate your pages. Now, not in bulk and not live, obviously. You'll be able to do it simply from a page or from a post, click translate, and the page will be translated directly. If you want the bulk and live version, of course, you'll have to upgrade to the premium version, which is currently 30% off until January 1st. And so you have the link, of course, in the comments and in the description if you're interested, and also for the free version, of course. So here we have It's very simple. First, let's go look at the settings. Obviously, that's more logical. So you obviously have the license key, of course. Here, you'll have the translation service. So for the translation service, you have the choice between Google Translate, which is completely free. Okay. So if you want to avoid fees and just want to send a little, well, Google Translate is pretty good. You have the DeepL API for those who work with it, and you have OpenAI, of course. OpenAI, which will allow you, in this case, to come here, select the models you want to work with. You enter your API key, obviously from OpenAI. You select your model, and then quite simply, you'll translate your content using AI. You can customize the translation prompt here if you wish. There you go. If you have some things that are a bit detailed to do. So here you have variables, right? Content, source language, target language. If you If you obviously want to go into more detail, here we're not going to touch it. Of course, we're just looking to translate. Then very simply in the options, translate the tags, labels, and categories. So when you, for example, bulk translate from French, obviously it will need the equivalents for your categories, of course, in the correct languages. So it will translate the categories from French and create new categories in the languages you've selected, which is pretty interesting. Next, obviously, if you use plugins like Yoast SEO, Rank Math, and SEO Press, well, you just leave this checked here so that it will, in parallel, directly translate your titles, your meta descriptions, and so on within the plugins. If you have custom fields to translate, of course, here you can click to activate it and select the field. So I don't have any here, but the fields that you want to translate. Okay, and it will be taken into account. Live translation. So what's it for? If, for example, you work with Automatique, you're going to be adding articles automatically every day. And from the moment an article is posted, for example, here in French, automatically, the moment it's posted, it will be automatically available in the other languages. Meaning it will get translated as soon as you've posted the original post, the original content. Next, update content on save. This is very handy. When you modify a page or a post, well, simply upon saving, it will update it in all the other languages. There you go. If you, for example, add an image, change some text, etc., well, from the moment you save, everything will be updated in the correct languages. Internal links by country, that's what I was explaining just before. You'll have internal links on your pages that will backlink links from your site to pages in the corresponding countries, or rather the corresponding languages, sorry. It will avoid cross-linking between French, English, Spanish, and so on. There you go. It keeps it much cleaner. Translate in the background. So this basically allows you to run it in the background, and you can leave the site and let the cron jobs obviously handle the translation. And set publications as drafts if you want to check them beforehand, so that you don't have any surprises. If you have some specific things to do, you have the option to set all that as a draft. So that's it for the settings. It's pretty simple, actually. Next, here in the bulk translation section. So quite simply, you'll find your publications. Okay. So here we're kind of in the mass section, right? Bulk, let's say if you already have a site, for example, because if you're using live translation, well, it will just happen automatically. What we're going to do here is, I've made some posts. So you see, you have posts here available in English, in Spanish, and in French. Okay. Here, I've only made them in French precisely to be able to show you in this demo how the translation works. So here, I'm just going to check my articles that are already published, that are in French. And quite simply, I'm going to click here on Translate. So here, when I click on Translate, we'll find the languages I added with Polylang. So here, I've put 2. You can add as many as you want, obviously. It also supports everything like Japanese, Korean, and so on. So here, I'll leave the 2 languages selected that I added with Polylang. If I want to update the content, imagine, for example, that this content already has translations and you want to go over them again in bulk, no problem. Translations and you want to go over them again in bulk, no problem. You just need to update the content here. And there you go. It will rewrite everything you've already done without any issues. Now that that's done, quite simply, well, I'm going to click on Translate and we'll be back in a few seconds once the translation is finished. All right, so here we are on the background tasks page. We can see here that we currently have, well, 3 articles, 3 pieces of content that have been translated. And here we can see there in progress and here waiting. And so there you go. It's translating quietly in the background. We're going to check out the result right away, quite simply. So our article here is in French, okay? So great, everything's fine. The first thing we'll do that I'm going to show you, you probably already know this. Here, it's very important to understand. You see these lines here, in fact, which are the the hreflangs. Basically, it allows you, if you will, to signal to Google that this content is available in this language and that language. As we can see here, the default here will be French. Then we'll have hreflang ES and EN to signal it properly. So the more countries you have, the more lines you'll obviously have here. Let's go back to the article here. So our content here is in French, and quite simply, in the menu, you'll have Spanish and English. So we'll click on English and quite simply, we'll get the English version of our content. Just like that. There, translated here with OpenAI. There you go. Simple as that. Here, we'll also go check the Spanish version just to see if it's been translated. We click on it and there's our article in Spanish. So I could have obviously put it in many languages. We have 129 languages currently available. I'll remind you that you can do FRCH, FRBE, FRCA, etc. UK, EN US to specify England and the United States. So don't hesitate to do that. As I showed you, you have the hreflangs that allow you to show Google you're legitimate, at least on that level, to tell it, look, these are the versions for each country. So you really have to think in terms of geo for that. There you go. Quite simply, we'll go back and see here. Look, another one is finished. We'll click on it again. There, here's the FR version. Very good. And now let's go see the, let's say, the English version. And there you go. Simple as that. So that's it for this little demo. As you've seen, it's very, very simple. You can benefit from a 30% discount until January 1st, which brings the plugin to $299 instead of $399 for life. There you go. The plugin is a lifetime deal. Obviously, it's unlimited sites, unlimited publications. You're fully unlimited with this plugin. You pay for it once, it's yours. You do what you want with it. Obviously, updates are included in the lifetime deal. We don't charge for updates later on. There, I prefer to point that out just in case. It's very practical. It really allows you to reach a much wider audience with your sites. It's a plugin that was already for sale and was updated very recently. Since, as we work on Automatique, we didn't have the time to do what we wanted with it. So we're very happy to bring it back to the forefront. It works extremely well. For those who have it, they can obviously attest to that. It allows you to have very nice surprises on many geos, and especially, well, effortlessly to be able to increase your keywords in other countries, your traffic, and so on. Well, obviously the theme has to be suitable for it. Of course, it's still aimed at themes that are available, you know, in other countries. Well, you can imagine. I'll let you add your own content. I'll see you soon. You have the links in the description, and so a promotion of -30% until January 1st. Don't hesitate to test the free version beforehand if you wish. There isn't a bulk version, but you can still test the translation by going directly into your pages and your posts in your content and just clicking on translate. So you have to do it a bit manually, but it at least lets you try it out. Or if you have sites with very little content, well, quite simply, it allows you to come and work on it for free. If you have 10 or 15 pages, well, that can be quite practical too. Now, it's a bit longer, obviously, than the paid version. But it's better than nothing. I'll see you very soon. We have a meeting, of course, every Friday morning at 9 AM live, or otherwise in a video every Monday and Wednesday. Bye, and see you soon.